The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.
Hello, Take Shape for Life family. I'm Stephanie Golka, and I'm a certified health coach, and I'm here with my friend Kara Herron, also a certified health coach, and we'd like to share with you some tips on how to get back on track after you've had a bad day.
All right, so how many times have you guys said something like, I had a great week and then the weekend came and I totally cheated, or I was doing fine until about 4 o'clock and then I was bad and I went off plan. So as a health coach, one of the things that I try and get my clients to do is when they say the word cheated, which I don't like, I just ask them to please use the words, I made an unhealthy choice. You know, it was a bad day, but instead of saying it was a bad day, it's just, I just made an unhealthy choice. And then we move on to make healthier choices throughout the rest of the day or throughout the rest of the week. When we do this and we change it, it can salvage our whole day, you guys, when we change what's up here in our mind. Because when we cheat, we, use that word, we feel like the whole day is wasted and we are just going to go on with the rest of the day and eat whatever we want. And then I'll start again tomorrow. But when we have that mentality of starting over, and it just seems that something that we're always doing is starting over, and that's just really not good for us. So if we can just instead let that one unhealthy choice just be an unhealthy choice and move on, and changing our language means that we understand in our brain that we're always on plan, we're always on program, even when we make the unhealthy choice. So we never start over, we just continue making healthy choices more and more. And this also gives us permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to really learn from those.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I found that can really help you kind of get back on track is by having a really strong foundation to begin with. And what we like to do is make sure that you've taken AIM, and that's just an acronym for you've awakened your intrinsic motivation, like deep inside, why are you wanting to create health? There's lots of different ways you could do this, especially if you're like a visual person. You can have a dream board that will help remind you of what you're aiming towards, where you're trying to go. Even having an index card with your why written on it that you can read before each meal until it just becomes a part of, associating, getting that bar or having that shake with that true why. And, if you work with your health coach, accountability partner, to really ask yourself why enough times so that the thing that you write down or that answer that you have is something that gives you goosebumps. And it's like, yeah, that is what I'm really wanting to create. There's a quote in Alice in Wonderland, and it says, if you don't know where you want to go, then it doesn't matter which path you take. And so that's why if you have a really clear focus, that can help you.
Okay, so speaking of motivation, Dr. Anderson gives us some great advice in chapter 3. It's one of my favorite chapters. And he explains that there's 2 types of motivation. So there's a solving a problem and creating a desired outcome. So in solving the problem, I want you to think about, is this where I am? Am I running from disease? Am I relying on just self-control to solve this problem? Do I have really bad feelings that are motivating me? Like, I'm too heavy, nobody likes me, I can't fit into the bus seat, whatever the feelings are. Maybe you're uncomfortable when you look in the mirror, you just hate the way you look, and you're just filled with guilt and shame. So there's that way of motivating ourselves, which doesn't really sound fun, does it? If we turn to the create a desired outcome, really creating health is what we're doing here. That sounds like a lot more fun than running from disease. If we lessen that emotional conflict where we're not upset, we don't hate ourselves, it's so much better. We feel better about ourselves and we're able to take action. So what we need to do is really change our focus. And when I started on this program, I definitely was running from disease, you guys. I did not want to get breast cancer again. But then I read in Dr. Anderson's book in chapter 3 about motivation. And what that did for me was it quickly changed my focus from losing something, weight, to gaining something, which is optimal health. And this was a real game changer for me, because if we focus on losing something, eventually we're going to get to that goal. We're going to have lost something, but then what? What happens when we finally get there? And usually what happens is we stop doing what we needed to do to get there, because it's all a whole diet mentality where I don't have to do that anymore because I reached my goal. But if we are doing something like gaining optimal health, we are constantly working on that for life, creating optimal health. So we never stop doing what we did to get to that goal. And really that just guarantees that we're never going to go backwards.
So let's look at ways to create health, because one of the other things I found is that, sometimes if I've had a bad couple days and I keep thinking, okay, I have to get on, 5 and 1 today. And I wake up and I'm really ready to go. But sometimes you need to meet yourself where you're at, and also think about different ways you can create health, right? Just choosing the right way to eat. And making healthy choices. So maybe it's not 5 and 1 right now. Maybe it is just healthy choices, like in creating those habits that support healthy weight. There's a lot more to being on plan than just having the 6 meals a day, right? There's water, there's sleep, there's stress. But out of all of those things, I'll tell you, all of them start with a decision. And just like Kara was saying, it's not, okay, I'm just going to start all over again. No, you know what? You made the decision that you're going to become a healthy person. So some of the things you can do is say, well, how does a healthy person respond to this? If I were healthy, what would I choose to do next? And ask yourself questions like that. You can ways to get back on plan. You can focus back like you were on day 1, journaling, logging your waters, logging your meals, reading The Habits of Health, pulling that book out. Kara, I know we've talked about this, like you'll go back through the book and read chapters you've already read, and you see something completely different. You're like, oh yeah,
right.
So really just taking yourself back. We have these wonderful podcasts of these weekly calls, things like that, getting yourself surrounded by just the thoughts of health and healthy people. Talking to your health coach, that's always a really good plan, I promise you. Attending Take Shape for Life events if there are any near you, or if someone might be having something in their home. And really it's asking yourself, what is a better way to respond? And then figuring out ways that you can encourage yourself to respond that way. So now that we know, ways to do what we want to do, what we want to create, we need measurable markers to know that we're progressing. So, hold on one sec. Sorry, my little technical difficulties there. All right, Kara, sorry about that.
That's okay. So in order to make some goals, we need to know what our current reality is. And this is one of my favorite things, because we have to be really honest with ourselves and figure out where we are right now so that we know what it takes to get to where we want to go. So part of that current reality are these 3 things. So you want to measure your weight. So you need to jump on the scale, even if you don't want to. The scale is important because we're going to record our weight first, and then we're going to weekly jump on that scale and just see where we're at, and so that we can actually see some progress. The next thing is measurements. So I always tell people that number on the scale is not the only indication of how well you're doing on program or on your health journey at all. There's lots of other ways, and one of my favorites is measurements. I think I lost over 90 inches on my health journey, and that was so exciting to watch that. So I ask my clients to do their measurements once a month so that we can see the results monthly. And then what I do is have them really measure all over their body. For me, it was, bust, chest, abs, waist, hips, butt, both thighs, both calves, both arms. Some people even do their neck. I actually have a necklace that I can get on now that I couldn't before. Some people do their wrists, but really it's so exciting to see those inches go down, because what I found was they go down everywhere. You don't just lose in your neck, you lose everywhere. So you're always going to have some great, if you're on plan, and we're always on plan, we're going to have some great measurements results. And then definitely I've talked to clients who are like, I don't want to take my before picture. And I really encourage them to do that, because I know personally, I did not like my pictures when I started this plan, but I knew that I wanted to see, when I look in the mirror every month, it's such a small amount every day that I'm progressing that I don't see the progression. But if I'm taking my picture every month and comparing those, you just watch yourself melt away. And it's the most exciting thing. So once we have our current reality down, and we know exactly where we're at, and we're super honest with ourselves, we're going to move to our desired state, or what is it that we want? So I want you guys to think about this just as you're listening to us. Describe some of this stuff. So is it a weight that you want to get to? So many people want to get to a certain weight, and that's fine. That's a great goal. We really do want to be at a healthy BMI, to avoid disease. So a goal weight is a good goal. A lot of times it's something that we want to do, like maybe go on some rides at the amusement park. So we want to have a desired reaction or action. We want to be able to maybe sit on the floor with our grandkids, and we can't do that. Or we want to, whatever it is, whatever action is important to you, maybe that's your desired state. Or what if you want to have a really big impact on your health overall, or increase your stamina, or even maybe you're on medications and you have a different goal for your blood pressure and blood sugar and cholesterol. So make sure that your why and your goal is really compelling, and that's going to move you forward from your current state of reality.
Absolutely. And so I want to take a minute, because sometimes, you might think that you have your goals down, right? And you think that you did this before, right? That you've done the measurements and you got on the scale before, and but yet you're still finding yourself kind of waking up and kind of going through that cycle of okay, nope, for sure, I'm going to start tomorrow. Well, one of the things I found is, if you can choose today or tomorrow morning to be your first day again, right? Because sometimes we need, especially if we lose a lot of weight. I lost 65 pounds, and I will tell you, once I hit 40 pounds, it got really hard to just willpower my way to keep moving forward. Because in my head, I was just like, yeah, I'm way better than I used to be. And that's what I kept comparing myself to. So every day it was, oh, yep, I got this, even though I wasn't quite, sticking to plan the way I wanted or getting the results I wanted. And so taking a new before picture. Also, another reason for tracking too is just to know when you can, or not can, but when to celebrate. Because like Kara was saying, sometimes the scale's moving kind of slow, but the measurements are there, and then you can say, okay, good, I got this. Especially when you're 10 pounds in and you have 55 more to go. So it really just is a wonderful tool to help you. And I don't know about anybody else out there, but I would get to this point where, yeah, okay, so I've kind of been off it's actually my path a little bit. And I think, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back on plan, get back focused, and then I'll call my coach, because I quote unquote know what to do. But I'll tell you, lifestyle change almost never happens alone. And that's why with the Take Shape for Life program, you have a coach, you have a built-in accountability partner that's going to be there for you. Yes, to celebrate, but also when you're struggling, because it's hard. And the longer you wait to really get yourself back on track on your path, the harder it could be. So that's definitely one of the things that I would suggest doing, is reach out right away. Just touch base with your coach and say, hey, it's me. This is what I'm going to do this week. This is what I'm hoping to do. There. Okay. So as I was talking about the whole honesty thing, right? Kara spoke a lot about the goal and having a really clear goal. Now, the other part too is knowing what you want versus what's possible. To drop, let's say I have a wedding to go to on Saturday. To drop 20 pounds by Saturday, as in day after tomorrow or tomorrow, that's not realistic. And so really know your body, know kind of what you're capable of. Your coach can really help you figure that out, and then to calculate that out so that you'd be able to have reasonable goals. And I will tell you, and Dr. A will tell you too, that honesty is one of the most important habits of health. The more honest we are, the more it becomes part of who we are. And truth, darling, is an acquired taste. So definitely take it in little bits. All right.
All right. So I agree. Like, I was so surprised when I read that Dr. Anderson said honesty is one of the most important habits of health. I didn't even think of that as a habit of health. But yeah, I agree. If we're honest with ourselves, we'll be much more likely to stay on the path that we're on. So let's go ahead and talk about some tools to support your health moving forward. So wherever you are with your health right now, or wherever you are in your journey, we're hoping to give you some tools that maybe if you've fallen off a little bit, that will help you get back on track. Remember, we're never off plan. We just maybe need to move our track back onto the right path here. So the first thing that I want to talk about is coming up with a list of things that you can do instead of eating. So say you are like you've done really well, and then 3 or 4 o'clock hits and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm starving and I already had my snack. What am I going to do? And I really think that it's important, just like it's important to be prepared with our food, it's important to be prepared with things that we can do instead of eat. And so some of those things that I really like to do, and it's going to be different for everyone. So really make a list and have it right there in front of you. But some of the things that I love to do are, I love reading. So giving myself permission to sit down and read a chapter in one of my books is a real treat for me. Bubble baths, going for a walk, painting my nails, playing the piano is big for me when I'm stressed out. So anything that can take your mind, all we're trying to do is distract you for just a few minutes from that thought of, I need to go eat something. And if we can distract ourselves for a few minutes, then we're usually able to be back on track.
Absolutely. One of the things, I love humor, and I'm very silly for those of you that know me really well. And sometimes I have to just breathe a little bit and bring some humor into things. So I know that if I'm at a school function, people bring all different kinds of foods and stuff. The ones that don't support my goal of creating a healthy life. And it's kind of funny, and I don't make it in huge gestures, but in my mind, I sing like a song. Like sometimes it's stop, collaborate, and listen, So for those of you 90s children, you'll know what song I'm singing, but I just kind of, I have that little tune playing in my head, and kind of do a little Vanilla Ice kind of, move, stuff like that. And it's just to be silly in my own head. As I said, I don't do a huge one out in front of everybody, but in my kitchen, there's also like, MC Hammer's songs, I'm just like, can't touch that, and those are the ways I do it, because I know that I want to reach into my head when the little, I don't even know, food monsters, kind of even asking, hey, do I want that? Do I not? Even though I know that I made the decision that I'm moving towards health. So the answer already is no, but sometimes I forget a little bit. And then some other things too that I found very helpful is to have a habit first thing in the morning. I know when I'm coming down the stairs that instead of taking a left to go towards my office, I need to take a right, and I need to go make my calorie burn cappuccino, because that's how I start every morning, whether I'm doing 5-in-1 program or anytime, because I have 4 kids and no time in the morning for breakfast. That's a perfect choice for me. And that sets my day off really well. And so if maybe you have a particular habit, maybe it's that last meal of the day that is going to be, a brownie or something, right? So that you're ending the day on plan, like, and you can kind of bookend your days. So that might be a little helpful too, to get you just back into the groove, because that's really what this is. I hope you aren't spending all of your days making it all about the food. Like that's the beauty of this program, is that you just put yourself in a groove with habits, easy fuelings, so that you can create a life of health. Did you have anything else you wanted to mention too, Kara?
There's one other thing I wanted to mention here, and it's something that I've been talking to a few coaches about today, and I love the whole idea. And the idea is that if we have a craving, or there's something that we really want to do, and we probably need to not do that to be able to stay on the right path, just be uncomfortable in wanting something for just a minute, and then choose the healthier thing. So what I mean by that is, when we're faced with an unhealthy choice, if we can just sit with that feeling for just a minute, just sit with it, let the thought go through our mind, and just acknowledge the dialogue that's happening in our mind. And it's kind of even amusing sometimes what we're trying to do, what we're telling ourselves in order to be able to do this, right? And then if it's uncomfortable, it's just really okay. Just acknowledge what's happening. And then if you have that thought, let it just kind of move through you. And then the most important thing, and I learned this today and I love it, is that the final step of that is to say out loud some I am statements. So think of some I am statements that you can say, like, I am on plan, or I am in fat burn right now, or I am succeeding and reaching my goals, and I am enjoying this journey. And if we can do that and talk to ourselves and just be okay with being uncomfortable a little bit, a lot of our journey has to do with what's happening up here in our mind. And if we can do kinds of things like this, then I think that we're going to be able to retrain our mind a little bit and make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Meeting ourselves where we're at is the best gift that we can give ourselves. And if you find that, each day you're waking up but not being able to have that focus, maybe you concentrate on one thing. You know what, today I'm going to get the water in. And then the next day you can add something else, with that. For myself, I found that I would do for others more than I would do for myself. I know, a lot of moms I know suffer from that. And so becoming a health coach really helped me, because I knew that if I was helping one other person, that I was less likely to then revert back to old habits and stuff. And I didn't know back then that, I would build a big business. I was just trying to help myself out, and that I knew would ensure that my integrity would ensure that I could keep moving towards health. So,
yeah, I think someone just said on the chat, stop, challenge, and choose. And you're exactly right. That's exactly what I was talking about, just in other words. And Dr. Anderson has given us that tool to use. Stop, just take a breath, and then challenge, why am I feeling this way? And then make the choice. If it's the choice to have the food, that's fine. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And just decide to get back on track right after that. So,
yeah. Oh, one other thing too, that I found when I'm talking to some clients and stuff, is that let's say they accidentally tripped and a piece of pizza fell in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? So what they'll do is they won't eat the rest of their meals throughout that day. And what that does is it gives you a double whammy. Not only now do you have, the extra carbs and fat and all of that stuff, but you're also not keeping your metabolism going because you're not fueling yourself every 2 to 3 hours, and you're not getting the vitamins that you need, because a piece of pizza's vitamins are not the same as if you have, 300 calories worth of meals. And so I think that that's an important thing to remember when you do, or if you do have a bad choice, then, but don't also then, we use the analogy of, if you have a flat tire, you don't go and slash all the other three. And so get yourself right back on plan that next scheduled meal time that you have, and reach out for help. I'm telling you, I've called my coach, even if she doesn't answer the phone, just hearing her voice message, just saying what I did, it just helps me say, okay, so that's done, and then move forward. So I think we're just about up with time. Let's see here. I just saw this, Linda had posted that I think at this point I'm just dieting, and you're probably right. And when you have that diet mentality, a powerful thing to do is to shift it and say, I'm actually creating a healthy body. And that changes the choices that you'll make. It empowers you, and hopefully it'll also encourage you to go use the tools that we have in this bio network and Take Shape for Life, right? Coaches, podcasts, call like this. And there's a lot of Facebook groups and things like that, because together is how we're going to be able to really, combat obesity. So with that, Kara, I didn't say Karen, sorry. Kara and I really want to offer you one main bit of advice, and it's to give yourself grace. And progress is better than perfect. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I think that's it. I'll kind of go through these chats right here just to make sure there aren't any questions that we need to answer. But we have so many great coaches. I think they're answering the questions for us. So that's good because it's kind of hard to do this plus that. So anyways, have a good evening,
Yes.
guys. Talk to you
Thank
later.
you, guys. We'll talk to you later.
The preceding audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.